Hi everyone, it's Theresa with Crafty with Theresa. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today we have something I haven't done in a while, but first I want to apologize for my voice. It is really sounding rough right now, and I know I sound like a frog, but I am really fighting a summer cold, so I want to apologize for that up front. There may be times when I throw in some music for you so you don't have to listen to this scratchy voice. But today we'll actually be going over quite a few things. We'll be going over a one-sheet wonder or sheetload of cards, some call it, whichever way you want to call it. That's what we're going to be doing here today. So I'm going to be showing you how I took one card design and we're going to end up making 8 cards with it. Oh, and on top of that, it's going to be a fun fold card, or at least I think that's what we'll be calling it. Today we'll also be using the Celebratory Sips Designer Series paper and Cheers and Sips stamp and die set. We'll also cover a few techniques. You know how I like to do that. We're going to take some busy paper that I showed you here in the beginning. We're going to take that paper and use it to our advantage. Now, enough of my chatting. Let's get to crafting. Now, I know a lot of these papers are so beautiful, I don't even want to cut them up, but we have to. So I chose the orange one because orange is my favorite color. But a little coming soon item for you, I am also going to be using these designs for more than just celebratory items, as in drinking and having fun with girls. I'm actually going to use one of the designs for my granddaughter's first day of school. So stay tuned for that. So let's get started on today's cards. We'll look at the pattern paper first. I did choose this paper on purpose because it really doesn't matter to me how those stripes are going, and the flowers are universal. So that's easy peasy for me. That's my style. So first, let's cut this pattern paper. I have the 12 by 12 piece of paper that we're going to cut down to make these cards, and I'm going to cut them in 3 strips. So the strips will be 3 3/4 by 12. Now, I also wanted to remember 2 cuts, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 and 3/4 by 3 3/4 for my designer series paper. That'll leave me a few leftovers, but you'll see in just a bit, I am only going to end up with one tiny square when I'm done with this. So now I have my 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 squares. Now what I'm going to do, I did fidget a little bit here trying to decide, am I really going to have to worry about these papers? And I thought, nope, I'll fix it, because that's what we crafters do. So I will take each one of those 3 3/4 squares and I'm going to cut 1 inch off of those squares. In hindsight, I would have cut them as they were in strips, but for today's video, I'll show you it works just fine this way also. No matter what, you're cutting off 1 inch off of those 3 3/4 because you want that square to be 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 when you finally place it on the card. You'll see what I do in just a few minutes with that 1 inch strip. Now here I have all of them cut for you. Now I actually have 9 of the 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 squares, but that last one we're going to actually cut it apart so that we can have all 3 pieces to go on this front card. Take a look. As you can see, in the design itself is one piece in the middle that's 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then the 2 side strips are going to be 3/4 by 3 3/4, but I will be doing some cutting down to make that work. Don't worry, I'm going to use those scraps. Now, the extra piece that was on the side, I said we'd come back to that. Here we are. We're actually going through and cutting those at 3 3/4 so that we now have our sides for the last card design. Now, I have one extra piece of the 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and I'll just cut those in strips so that I have the last two pieces for card number 8. Next, here's where I mentioned a couple different ways you can do this. Now, I do not have a lot of the ink spots or the stamping ink pads just yet. I'm still building my stash. So what I did is I had the stamp and die set. So I took those extra pieces of, I don't know, we'll call them watercolor squares, and I actually just cut those pieces out to make some of the focal points that I'm looking for. I have taken the cherry, the strawberry, the orange slice, one of the cups, and I believe the umbrella are the ones that I cut out of that. Now all I have to do is grab my stamp set and stamp them to give them a little bit more definition. Now, just a little trick or tip for you. I a lot of times will take those small intricate dies like that and I will put them on something sticky. I don't have a sticky sheet. So what I do have is, if you've watched my videos, you know that I have a binder that is a photo album that back in the day we used to put our photos in there, and that has a little bit of sticky on it. So I have one page of that photo album that I use it all the time to grab those little teeny tiny things. So what I'll do is I'll peel that little strip back and I'll put those small intricate items on there so that I can quickly stamp them and be done with them. Now, if you're not a fan of trying to do this and lining this up, don't worry, I have another option for you and it's coming up next. So here's where I'm going to put those little intricate dies in there. Now I've got my stamps on my stamp block. I'll use some black memento ink and I'm going to go ahead and stamp them onto those little dies. If I get a little bit off, it's not a problem. You know, we crafters make do. And so I'll grab my little journaling pen and finish up the lines if I get a little bit off. But mine turned out really good. Even the little cherry, which I thought was a true blue miracle because that little thing is very tiny. And then once I get them done, I'll just peel them right off, and now I have some of my focal points. I don't know exactly how I'm putting it together yet because I'm kind of just designing as I go, but we will end up using those. So next, I want to show you the second option. I'm going to do this just a little bit differently. I'm going to take the stamp that's on the stamp block, and I'm actually going to stamp the item onto those little watercolor squares first, and then I'll just add my dies to it. Either way will work. Sometimes with intricate dies, it's better to do one or the other. But I used both, and they both worked just fine. Whatever's best for you. There's always options. Then I'll run those through my die cut, and I will have them ready to go. This to me is a very easy card design. Let's just walk through it real quick. Now, I decided to go ahead and cut the 8.5 by 11 Timid Tiger paper, cardstock paper, and I cut that at 5.5 first. Hindsight, I would have done it differently, but I'm, again, designing as I go. So now what I'll do is, now that I've got that, I will score it. I will go ahead and score it a little bit. And there's the reason why I do that. I want to see that line a little bit better, because what we're going to do, we're going to take our paper trimmer and we're going to line it up. In my case, I'm lining it up at the bottom. And we're going to, at the 4.25 inch mark, we're going to take it and cut it straight down. You can cut it from the bottom to the top to the bottom. Either way will work, and I'll show it to you both ways. And there's just a little catch there as soon as you get to that 4.25 mark, and it kind of helps you cut that by having that already scored. Now there you go. Here you go. Your card base is done, and now we're going to put our designer series paper on it. But before we do that, we're going to grab some sentiment. I will, because I have other ideas for these cards, I will only be showing you a few of these cards today. All of the bases will be done and the panels will be ready, but I don't have all the sentiments on there because I'm going to be using some of these for different types of cards. So I grabbed It's Your Day, and I'm just stamping those out, and I'm just doing it quickly. So I'll take those long bladed scissors and I'll cut them out. I'll cut them at a slant, and I'll take that slanted area and put that underneath the wine glass or cocktail. Now, these one-sheet wonders are perfect because if you want to do these in an assembly line, they're perfect for that. I'm going to show you how to do these in an assembly line if that's what you'd like to do. I take the two side strips and I'll take those and I'll glue those down. Next, I'm going to take my designer series paper and I'll lay those on top, and I'll glue those on top of those two little strips. And you can do that quickly. You can just go through quickly and glue all those little side strips down. Actually, and if you wanted to, you wouldn't have to glue those down. I just feel like it flows better if you do glue them down. But you could leave those open and then set yourself up with a little flap. So I'll quickly go through those, glue them down, and then now I have 4 cards ready to go to put the designer series paper on. I do also sometimes take my bone folder and just kind of crease that a little bit more each time. Now I'll take the Timid Tiger color and I'll put those on the sides. Line those up, put them on the sides. And if you're doing this in an assembly line, you would go through and do all of those at the same time. For today, I'm just going to show you how this card is going to turn out. Now I've got the beautiful floral design, and that'll go on the top. We're not quite ready. We're getting close though. Now I did not show the cutting of these because I already have these on hand, but these are card panels that are 2 3/4 by 4 inches. I apologize, 2.5 by 4 inches. Now remember those little strips I mentioned? Here's where we're going to take a look at those little strips, and we're going to add those to the bottom. And so now you have decorations on the outside of your card and the inside of your card. Now all we have left to do is add our focal point and our sentiment. And I think these cards turned out beautiful. I'm only showing you the yellow ones because the orange card bases are exactly the same. while we're adding our sentiment and our focal point, I want to thank you so much for joining me here today. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button and the notification button so you can see the new videos as they come in. And if you haven't had a chance to do so, like and comment. It helps YouTube to notice me. I'll show you here the 2 different designs that we made today. As I said, I don't have sentiments on all of them because I have not made up my mind yet on that second sentiment. So stay tuned, more videos to come. I mentioned the scrapbook layout. It's going to be super cute, and we'll be using the lavender colors because my granddaughter has her room done in lavender. So, thank you again for joining me. Until next time, have a great day.